Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jake, this is Nadia. We actually got to see a movie together. Well, not together, we saw it separately.
But we're reviewing it together.
We're reviewing it together. Today we're talking about a movie called Sinners. Hotly anticipated. I feel like a lot of people who love movies have been excited for this. Ryan Coogler making this. It's an original film. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I had no interest in the Marvel world, and suddenly he's now back to doing his own thing, and this is a super unique film. Very interested to hear what you have to say. I have no idea. What do you think?
So first of all, this is non-spoiler, and it stars Michael B. Jordan plays twins. So he plays two roles.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
Okay.
I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
I was really pissed at Jake when I was in the film because I'm a scaredy cat, and this guy knows that.
Oh.
And he knows I don't watch trailers because trailers contains a lot of spoilers. And so I usually try to avoid trailers, not always, but usually. I didn't know there were vampires here. It's not a spoiler to say that. It's a little bit of a scary vampire-ish film.
I thought it was more action, vampire, which it is, it's definitely, it is like horror, but it's not like you're going to see Smile or something. But I'm glad that you had a good time, it seems like, ultimately.
I ultimately did have a good time, which is why I forgave you.
Okay, great. I guess maybe we should get into what this movie even is. Some might say mess. I would say that it's really combines so many different genres, and it's set in Mississippi, Clarksdale. I've been to Clarksdale, actually, about the blues, more or less, which is kind of not what I was expecting. It's like it's a musical on some level. There's a ton of music in this. It's about music. Music represents...
I wouldn't call it a musical, though.
But there's like music representing like kind of... Okay, I'll put it all out there. I love this movie, 10 out of 10.
Oh my gosh, I rated it lower than you. Holy crap.
I mean, I was thinking like, okay, there's some issues. Like it doesn't really know how to end. There's like 5 endings to this movie. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I got everything I wanted and more, like I had no idea this was going to be it's such a deep, like historical epic almost. It has this huge canvas, this like Altman-like canvas of all these characters that you get to know and care about. It sets it up so methodically, maybe a little slowly in the beginning to really get to know who all these characters are. And then it becomes a fucking vampire John Carpenter movie. It
switches themes almost.
It's so
right?
but the thing is like it's so hardcore in how it's just like, fuck it, we're doing this, we're setting up all these characters. We can be a serious movie about music, about Black culture, about all these different things. We can tackle these important topics and also be a fucking vampire movie. That is so fun. And maybe tonally it's kind of trying to find the balance there, but I went all in for it. I was just amazed. I was having such a good time. It has all these different movie elements. I mean, it's Assault on Precinct 13. It's got The Shining in there. It even quotes some like shots from The Shining. It has all these different genre things that are so fun with characters I genuinely really liked. And maybe if that's a flaw to this movie, maybe at the end of the film, I got the sense that Ryan Coogler maybe liked the characters too much, to be able to say goodbye to them in a concise way. But I was like, this is amazing. It's so much movie.
It's so much movie. That's the takeaway.
So much movie. Like this is something totally different. This is new and just so fun. And I hope this makes $1 billion.
Well, so, it's funny because Jake asked me, because I watched the film first, he asked me, am I going to fall asleep? God, I don't think so.
No.
Then...
Even
I was
for
right.
a movie that kind of takes its time.
I had a feeling that you like this a lot,
It takes its time setting things up too, but I was entertained because I love the characters. Michael B. Jordan is playing twins. I mean, the thing is, this movie would have worked fine if it was just about these gangsters coming back to Mississippi to try to set up, a club. We learn so much about the characters in these little exchanges. It works. It is so well written. It's like a novel. It has all these different things.
Yeah, and it's so cool. What I really liked about it, first of all, let's mark today as history in making. This day in April will always be known as the day that Jake liked a movie more than Nadia.
Hey, that's not... No, there have been times. I mean, I can't think of the last time I gave a movie 10 out of 10.
I gave it 8.5. If you give it 10 out of 10, I'm usually like 9.5.
Maybe I was pretty close on Challengers, I feel like.
Well, how many vampire movies do you know that actually has a meaningful story to tell. And that's what I loved about it. It wasn't just like a vampire fun, although it was that. There's a meaning, there was like symbolism and everything that happened from, the plot of the film to the setting, the ending too. If I could say one thing that was a little annoying was the after scene end credit, because basically I was the only one left in the theater.
Me too. I was like,
who watched the end.
I was like, this is a lot more movie that people are missing.
And it wasn't like a clip. It was like a short clip.
It
was
scene.
Like a full scene.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty important scene. So
I thought that it didn't need it. I thought it was kind of nice, but it was like, this could have been a deleted scene on the Blu-ray.
I think that your mindset is why it was after credit. Nonetheless, I actually thought it was really important because it kind of...
I enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I thought it was cool seeing more. Well, let's not get into what it is.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that.
I'll just say that it gives like contrast, a pure contrast to a character, two of the main characters of their outcome.
This movie goes to places and includes stuff I did not expect it to see. Halfway through the movie, there's one particular scene where I'm going like, are they allowed to do this? Is this going to break the movie?
Yeah.
Is this going to be too... You probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, is this a little too much? But
yeah.
It just had so much confidence. It had so much energy being like, yeah, we're doing this. You're going to love it. Then we're going to have a bunch of vampires attack.
You're going to love it.
And first off, I got to say, I love the vampire element in the sense of like, they're so charming, the vampires. They feel so human when they're vampire, that they're just like, life is better. Like, come on, let's hang out, And it's so, maybe, I don't want to reveal. Okay, here's the thing. I don't want to reveal too much. I really would love, if you want to see this, you should just go in blind and see as little as possible because it is so surprising and fun.
We'll get into spoilers, sounds like, very quickly. But
okay.
I want to say that if you've seen Vampire Diaries, which I did in my teenage and, early 20s, some of the vampire rules are very similar to that show, which was a little weird for me because
it's a lot of vampire movies have the same rules.
I guess that's the one that I'm most familiar with. At least I haven't watched that show in a very long time. But some of the rules I was like, is this from a Vampire Diaries? Kind of similar to Vampire Diaries. Like, okay.
But that's the thing. It has this schlocky element of like, yeah, we're going to have these characters go out with a bang. We're going to have this fun, crazy, stupid shit and be about this drama and these characters and about music.
Yeah.
And it is, again, it's about the music and the score. Ludwig Göransson, I think that's how it's pronounced. He did the Oppenheimer score. He works with Christopher Nolan. This was something completely different, but it's mixing and mashing all these different genres, just like the movie is in itself. And it fits so perfectly. There's like electric guitar. Like there's times when the music soars and I'm just like, what is happening? This is so cool. I will say though, be warned, this isn't a movie that people will like who prefer tidiness and neatness.
But it's not hard to follow.
It's not like...
It's very easy to follow.
It's well paced and it delivers and it hits home on what it needs to, but it's also like, don't pin me down,
If you haven't seen the trailer, like I hadn't seen the trailer, then you are going to be in for a more of a surprise than others.
I haven't seen the trailer,
It delivers at the end why you're seeing certain things that you're seeing. A lot of times in the beginning part of the film, I'm like, this person thinks this happens to this person. Is that like a stylistic choice just to kind of show like the Western type of, nature? But at the end, it has a more of a meaning to it than just like shoot. It shows strength, love, bond, family, all of the above, heaven, hell, what it all means.
It's got everything.
And also makes you wonder the paths of life and if one is better than the other. But yeah, that's all I want to say for the non-spoiler section, to be honest with you.
Yeah, just see it. Just go see it and see it loud. See it in a theater with
See it loud. Turn it up.
No, seriously. I was just so happy. I sat pretty close to the screen more than I usually do. That seat that has like the rails and you can put your feet up, and I was just like,
were you high?
I'm high right now. No, I mean, maybe I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, so maybe that's affecting how much I'm resonating with it. I don't know, but it just was like a rush of adrenaline. When you see something that's just so well done, that's so good, I was getting emotional, not even in emotional scenes. I was just like, this is amazing. Like, this is working on so many levels. Everything's working. So many different elements that I love. Great music. I mean, it's amazing. I love it. I'm on a new arc. I'm on a new trajectory. No more cynical. I mean, I know there's Minecraft movies out there. There's Captain America: Brave New Worlds out there, but then you hit a Sinners and you have a new lease on life. So, spoilers.
3, 2, one.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. It's really interesting how Smoke and Stack had two different endings, and they both
Yeah.
seemed so pleased with
It
the
kind of fit
endings.
perfectly for them.
It
yeah.
did. There's no perfect ending because it just depends on
Yeah.
the individuals. Like one went to heaven, or heavily implied heaven, where he was reunited with his wife,
Yeah.
his partner,
And his child.
and his child. And the other one, stayed on Earth for eternity and was equally just happy with his partner and the love of his life. I really like that. And that's why I thought that the after credit scene was so important.
It was
because
important, yeah.
you only see one twins ending without it. So it's like, it feels pretty up to your own interpretation without the after credit scene, because you don't see one twin killing the other. You assume that they killed him or whatever else, but you don't really understand the final conclusion. You also don't see Sammy, who is the preacher's son, who is really the gem of the film in many ways, because
he's the heart. He's the
heart,
like POV character for the most.
He grows old at the end, and you kind of see what he's done and the legacy that he's left. He had a very complicated history with music because he was a preacher's boy.
I love all the mythology.
Music was like
music.
Supposed to be evil.
I love that.
It was a method to either give evil power or take it away. And I love that dynamic of like.
And the vampires are drawn to him because of the power of music. I just want to say real quick about the endings. I think that, like, to me, this is 10 out of 10 movie, even if it does have quote unquote flaws, if it's like doesn't off about it, maybe like with the ending where it has all these different endings. But I liked each ending, and I was okay with that. The problem is that it's so hard to come down from the high of, we just killed all these vampires. That's like curtain closed. That's the peak of the movie. It's hard to have these other things and resolutions for the characters when it's like, if this were like a classical Hollywood movie, that would be the end on the screen, right? After all the vampires die. So it's not a flaw of the movie. It's just a flaw of the nature of these types of movies.
I prefer it this way. The story goes on. There was a lot of revelation about the Ku Klux Klan and what they planned to do with the twins, their bar set up, the business, and how everything was just basically to get them all together on a trap to kill them all, essentially.
Maybe one element that I wish was included earlier in the movie was the Ku Klux Klan stuff, because they were teasing that quite a bit. And I thought they were going to be like, they were going to come in on that night, and try to ambush them. I thought it didn't really make a lot of sense that they were trying to ambush them in the morning after the party was over. But it seemed like more of a cleaner thing to be like, well, let's Michael B. Jordan come in and kill them all at the end there. So
stylistic, I understand why they made it, because they needed the daylight for the vampires to actually have a real way to die off, because they were so powerful.
But imagine if the Klan comes in while the vampires are sieging the club and the vampires all kill the Klan.
Yeah, that's
like that could have been amusing too. I don't know.
That would have been amusing, but I think it's a different type of ending.
It's different also because he was in the war, So like there's that moment
he's a soldier.
He's a soldier and he goes out like a soldier's death.
Yeah. And then
got a lot of Django vibes for sure.
The little brother twin, he is the little one who was always protected by his older soldier brother.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that the older brother, who has lots of experience in war and combat.
Well, older, they're twins, I guess.
Older. They call him little brother, older brother kind of thing. But I think with twins, I think a lot of twins kind of have that.
Yeah.
5 minutes makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's also like more than just like, minutes apart. It's the roles that one plays. Like a lot of times in siblings, you can have one who's older, one who's younger, but maybe the younger acts more like the older. The twin who's minutes older probably acts much like the older brother very much, who protects the younger one. He even apologizes to his younger brother saying, I'm sorry I couldn't save you. And so there's a real sense of needing to be the protector. It aligns with his whole story because he has a little kid who he doesn't get to see, who's not alive, and he wasn't able to protect his loved one, and he has a really sense of family and
everyone belonging. Has character arcs. I mean, they're fleshed out characters.
That's the beautiful part about it, where the other one is more carefree, and so it makes sense he's living like in eternity, basically, as a vampire, and is okay with that because
Yeah.
it's more like associated with carefree lifestyle, like the clothes he wears and everything, and then also with his carefree partner whom he loves as unconditionally, seems, as the other twin loves his partner. So
Mhm.
it's just different types of ending, and it's more so like respectful of everyone's choice,
Yeah.
and it's not showing like one ending is better than another. But I think the Ku Klux Klan getting killed at the end was so satisfying, Also because it was very much an active choice from one of the main characters
Yeah, it
who was
showed
affected,
like
who was gonna get conned. If the vampires had done that, then it would have been less active, and it would have been less
true.
of kind of put the main character as a victim instead of victor.
Yeah.
And because the main character had an active choice in killing them, he didn't, even though he died, it wasn't a victim's death.
I liked her for sure. There are so many standout performances. Even like the character actors get some great moments. Delroy Lindo, especially as the older blues musician, who plays the harmonica, goes out with a bang. He cuts his wrist with the glass bottle and sacrifices himself. And he was such a funny character. I loved him in it. Sammy, our main character, basically. Okay, there's like 50 just golden, amazing moments in this movie that I can't even recount all of them. I just need to rewatch it. But there's one moment where, and Michael B. Jordan this has got to be his greatest performance he's ever, put on screen. But there's that moment where Sammy starts playing and then he starts singing in the car when they're driving. And that look on Michael B. Jordan's face when he sees Sammy sing is priceless. It's so like believe in and buy into this music. Maybe this is a good point to talk about that scene, the one long take scene where we see the past and the future come together with Sammy's performance at the club. What did you think of that? Because I saw a guy with an electric guitar and then we have all this different music. Really surprising. And I was like, I don't know if this is very fourth wall breaking, of course, but it reached such a crescendo. And like we go up into the sky and it's just such a flurry of energy. And then we see the vampires coming in. And of course, like it's all music. It's all music. The vampires have their own like music that's like this gentle. It's just the Irish jig, and all this countering the blues music, and it's so funny too, how the music is used. Anyways, what did you think of that scene?
Oh, I really loved it.
Yeah,
I really loved it. It's also like a big contrast of the cultural divide.
Yeah,
because of the fact that like these vampires are like, yeah, we can sing and they're good at it and all that stuff, but they have no idea what is actually what the club is actually about, the culture representing inside the club actually means.
But then you see them doing their Irish music, and it's like they're all the vampires, they're having a great time, and you have everyone sing. It's just so. There's part of me that one scene when they're standing in the doorway, like arguing with them, basically like, hey, why don't you join us? We can live forever. Things are pretty great. Never in a vampire movie have I believed them more than that, because I was watching it going like, maybe, I mean, I don't know, sounds like I was wondering if the movie was going to be like, maybe we'll convert everyone to vampires and then they'll all kill the clan at the end. I could see it going that way.
So that brings me to the reason why I gave it 8.5 instead of 10.
Okay.
I felt that, so when Mary got turned into vampire in Stack 2.
Oh, Haley Steinfeld, great. She was great in this.
Very, very good. Yeah, everyone was really good. She seemed a lot different, so drastically. They all did, right, as vampires. Because they were all kind of like almost like beehive mind, it seems. They share all the thoughts. They have each other's memories, and there's like a queen bee, which the guy seems to
But they're not like zombies. They have their personalities. They're very charming.
Yeah. Maybe it was just me, but I felt like the personality kind of came together, like they merged. However, the post-credit scene, Stack seemed, and his girlfriend partner Mary seemed very much like a personified, almost enhanced versions of their carefree personalities as vampires, which makes sense. But it seemed like they were more themselves at the end in the post-credit scene than they were when they got turned into a vampire. I don't know if it's because like a fresh vampire high or what it was, or because the guy, the leader of the vampire group, got killed and everyone else kind of burnt as a result of it. If that kind of took the spell away. They did say something about that, why there's a flashback in the post-credit scene of Annie saying something about like some are like this, some are something else. So some souls get vampires, they get trapped inside, and the only way to relieve them is to kill them. And then the other ones, they kind of like just endure.
I didn't really care about the rules. I mean, I don't know. I'm that way with these types of movies where I'm just like, okay, whatever rules you need to have, you know.
I got a little confused about like
I guess it's maybe inconsistent. That might be a flaw of like why does Stack live
Stack and Mary
when
like,
all the other vampires?
Well, a Stack, yeah. Why are they different? Because the other ones kind of end up getting killed with the main vampire, the big boss guy, ends up dying. Mm-hmm. But you know, why are they spared?
Yeah.
So that one, the logic wasn't really there. I also just want to point out about Grace. I thought like it was really, even though it was kind of like a good way to get the vampires to come in at the end, Grace fearing for her daughter's life and having flashback show of her daughter's face the last time she saw her daughter, mm-hmm. and not wanting to protect her daughter, being so desperate that she's letting the vampires in so that they attack them instead of. Yeah. That was great. That was like a really well way to portray something that one event needs to lead to another, and how do we do that? Let's use Grace to do it. But it didn't seem cliche. It didn't seem like it was corny. It didn't seem like it was easy.
Because I felt like I knew her. I knew the characters well enough. You know, the movie really takes its time to set everything up.
But also it goes to like the acting.
Some people are going to be bored. I think some people will be bored the first half of the movie because it really just builds and builds and builds. And I think it works. It explodes with all this energy eventually.
Explodes.
But it's worth it. It's really worth it. I think audiences are going to love this. I really think it's just going to... I really hope it blows up. I hope everyone sees it because we need more movies like this, and we need directors doing so. I mean, it was filmed at IMAX as well. That's pretty cool. Yeah, anything else?
No, they don't make them like this anymore.
Except they are, right now. Go watch it.
Let us know what you thought. If you watched it and didn't like it, let us know as well.
Or keep it to yourself. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.